What's up, guys? This is Michael Robles with 116 Jiu-Jitsu, and today we're sitting down with someone who has had a big influence in my Jiu-Jitsu journey, a 6th degree black belt from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He's the kindest person you'll ever meet. He's the embodiment of what a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner should be, and not only that, a Jiu-Jitsu athlete. Today we're talking lineage, teaching, competing, and what it takes to build a solid Jiu-Jitsu culture. Let's get to it. First of all, I want to thank you for joining me and letting me interview you and share your story with the world.
Honestly, the pleasure is all mine. Having you here, having the opportunity to talk about Jiu-Jitsu, what I love the most, I'm always thankful. So thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get started by talking about your origin story. So tell us about your first experience with Jiu-Jitsu and how you got into training.
Well, originally, I'm like he said, I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and my background is surfing. I was an obsessive surfer, and a lot of my friends start training Jiu-Jitsu. Some of them even with the Gracie family, Rickson Gracie, and a lot of those guys. And it took me a while to get involved. Actually, a lot of my friends already trained, and I would go and I wouldn't train. But it took me one day, one session, 1 minute on the mats, rolling, practicing Jiu-Jitsu to absolutely fall in love with it. The art, the technique, the efficiency, the mindset, it all just struck me like crazy. This is the best thing I've ever done, and I hope to impact other people's lives with it too.
Awesome. What do you remember more about those early days, and what do you remember enjoying from those early days of training?
Well, back in the day, Jiu-Jitsu was a little more of a savage, like the think MMA, all that. So we were savages. There were no kids, there were no females. And when I first started, I was I started in a school, Joe Moreira's school, and it seemed to me like everybody was purple belt or higher. Nobody had mercy. I was getting destroyed all the time. So I really like the way it's done now, where we learn faster. There's a more structure. There's a curriculum, so people progress faster, and Jiu-Jitsu these days has evolved a lot, and I'm very happy to have lived through this journey, this transformation on the art, and it is what it is now, famous worldwide and very popular.
Awesome, awesome. Can you share your lineage from where your first instructor was, to how you came to the U.S. and started with Gracie Barra and all that?
Well, back in Rio, like I said, I started under Joe Moreira, red belt, UFC veteran, good friend of mine. I had also some years at Alliance in Barra, in Rio. And then when I switched to Gracie Barra, I really found my home, the family, the principles. It's so much more organized. And I'm happy I had to be under Master Carlos Gracie Jr.
Awesome. And when did you get your black belt?
Well, I got my black belt in '98, and every belt that I've got was really wow, because we don't have that many belts in Jiu-Jitsu. The adult only gets 3 promotions: 1 to blue, 1 to purple, 1 to brown, and then that's it. That's black. It takes a lot of years, so every belt in Jiu-Jitsu, in my mind, has a big weight and a big responsibility. I said, wow, my blue belt now, wow, my purple belt. So when I got my black belt again, I said, wow, am I ready for it? And at this point, I still think I'm not, because our mission is to keep learning forever.
Right. I think that's kind of shows the maturity of when you're ready for the next belt is when you don't think you are.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
Others see your progression and that's when you're matured enough to you're ready for the next one.
Not to mention that when you do get your promotion, you become a bigger target.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to go home and say, honey, you know that guy that just got the blue belt? I got him. So it's all part of the fun too.
It's fun, yeah. So now we'll get into your black belt journey. So how long did it take you to officially get your black belt? How long were you training until then?
It took me 12 years. And remember at the beginning I said I was an obsessed surfer. Obsession has been my life. So the moment I started Jiu-Jitsu, I gave it all. I took private lessons. I would train 2, 3 times a day, and it took me. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Oh, how long did it take you to get your black belt?
Well, it took me 12 years of long, hard training. 12 years, and I think that's pretty average. Was at least back in the day. Nowadays, like 8 to 10 years for an adult to get a black belt. But no matter what, it's a long and hard journey.
Yeah, it takes a lot of dedication too.
It does. Yeah. It does. It certainly does.
What were some of the toughest moments that you remember, and what kept you going at it so hard, even through those hard moments?
I think for myself, and I see this in my gym, the gym that I run. Like I said, you start with the white belt, obviously. Then the first belt is the blue belt, and then what's the most people quit. Because not only is the belt that you stay the longest at least typically 2-3 years as a blue belt, and you don't see that progress that you did as a white belt. White belt, you didn't know anything, so every little thing made a big difference. As a blue belt, you already know what you're doing, so progress is slower, it's not as visible. Maybe the partner that was getting you keeps getting you, so sometimes it can be frustrating. Sometimes you can feel like you reach a plateau, which is very, very common in blue belt. I felt that too. After I think people get to purple belt, they're already on their way up, and they should not stop.
Awesome. So you said you were always obsessed with whatever you did. So since that first step on the mat, you realized it was going to be a lifelong journey for you?
Yes, I think Jiu-Jitsu teaches us to keep evolving. And it's now we have the kids. And it's a new experience for me because, like I said, back in the day, we didn't have the kids. So now I see what Jiu-Jitsu is doing for the kids. It changes them. It builds resilience on them in a way that is absolutely crazy. So Jiu-Jitsu teaches us to face adversities, to get better, to keep evolving. So what we take from the mats to life is priceless.
Awesome. We're going to move into kind of like your teaching philosophy. In your opinion, what makes a great coach, instructor, professor?
I think what matters the most is to care for your students, to look at them and see, well, am I doing the right thing? I ask myself that question 24/7. I'm home, I'm sleeping, I wake up. I think about the classes, my students, what I can do to improve them. And being an instructor is not easy because there's so much involved, not only the technique, but we're involving ego, personalities, technique, natural talent, athleticism. Everybody's different. Everybody's a unique piece of laboratory for you to work with. I'm very fortunate to have that.
How do you approach teaching different types of students, like beginners versus advanced people, some people with learning disabilities? How do you approach that?
That is a big challenge in a Jiu-Jitsu school, particularly in our gym, which is a big gym. So we have let's say the hobbyists, the people that come as a hobby, as just a recreational, a fitness. We have the MMA fighters. We have the professional Jiu-Jitsu fighters. We have the housewives, the doctors. And it's really a challenge to cater to everybody's interests. So what we do here, we typically divide in groups. We have the people that are into competition, they train a little harder. The beginners will do the basic. And it's very important for an instructor to keep reading the floor so everybody's happy. So you have an older person, that person has to go a little less intense with the right partner. So that's something you need to be scanning the floor at all times and to get it right. And sometimes we miss.
Right. So how do you keep the balance between training hard, training for competition, and then the positive culture that we always try to keep?
It's really hard to remain an active competitor and still run the business and still train and still teach and all that. But myself, I like competing so much, and it's such a great motivation for my personal jiu-jitsu. The moment I sign up for a competition, I'm already thinking about my technique, the mistakes I have made, the mistakes I cannot make. So I always dedicate half an hour of my day for my personal fitness, because at the end of the day, I think that me growing will directly affect my students. So me getting involved, getting better, competing. So I think it reflects well on the gym culture.
So setting aside time for that hard training, and then separate times for keeping that culture and that, you know.
Yeah, I think we all should do that. Time for ourselves, for our mind, our fitness is a priority. Before you do it to others, you do it to yourself. It's like a mechanic that the car doesn't work. Your car works, you make everybody's car work. So I think it's all connected.
Awesome. All right. Now we're going to move into, you know, student growth and legacy. What's the most rewarding part of watching a student grow?
Master Eddie Gracie used to say that, you know, a guy walks into the gym and he's athletic, he's done gymnastics, he lifts weights, or whatever, he's the most athletic guy. You make him a champion, cool. But the moment you have a person with disability, a person with some kind of difficulty, whatever that difficulty is, that's your challenge. That's who we really should target. Not the athlete, the professional athlete, but the regular person. That's, I think, that will impact that person's life more than the person who already has all their athleticism in it. And we are here for everyone. We have a motto, Jiu-Jitsu for everyone.
Right, right. So watching those particular students grow just kind of gives you more motivation and kind of gives you, you know, the pleasure, I guess, watching them grow. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And on the mats, we say the mats don't lie. So when two people are rolling, grappling, there will be a winner, and there will be somebody who dominates it. And when I see somebody who is lighter, who has a physical difficulty, disability, or whatever, dominating that person, it makes me really happy because the magic of Jiu-Jitsu is working.
Right, right. Is there a moment with a student that really stuck with you?
Well, we have somebody in the gym. He's now a black belt. You know him, Professor John Jack.
Right.
I think of all our members, and literally thousands of members, I don't think anybody has faced more adversities than him. He has problems, neurological problems, physical disabilities, all kinds of problems. And he stuck to Jiu-Jitsu. He got his black belt. We sent him to Abu Dhabi for a Para World Jiu-Jitsu Championship. He did awesome. So I think he's the one that really expresses.
That always comes to mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. What kind of legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Oh, that's a very important question, Professor Twista. Because I think that's one of our instructors' biggest roles, is to influence people. Sometimes we, black belts, we don't know how much impact we have on people's lives. So everything we do is being read, is being seen, is being followed sometimes. So I worry about that, and I'm concerned that the culture of, like you said at the beginning, being a martial artist. Mm-hmm. Martial art is not a person who beats everybody. It's a person who has a character, the principles, the conduct, the honor. That's the thing that I would like to influence more my students with.
Awesome. All right. Now we're gonna go to like your competition and you know your style. So you're still active in the competition circuit, and most of the time you go with, you know, you're always going with higher, heavier people, younger people. So what keeps you motivated? What keeps you going and wanting to compete?
I think that one thing that connects us all in Jiu-Jitsu is we are a little competitive. We like challenges. If we didn't like challenges, most likely we wouldn't have joined Jiu-Jitsu in the first place. Because Jiu-Jitsu, at the end of the day, is challenging. And I go to, like, again, I'm obsessed. I go to the extremes. So I will step into a challenge at any time, any day, even if I know that I have no chances of winning. And it's getting more and more difficult as I age. The last age division in jiu-jitsu competition is up to 60. I'm 70. So I'm 10 years older than most of my competitors. I'm typically the lightest. Fortunately, I'm still doing well. I win here, I win some, I lose some. But the challenge is what really keeps motivated. I think that's what should keep us always in the comfort zone. Always have a goal. Always something that is hard. It can't be that easy, otherwise it's not worthwhile.
Right. Do you constantly see your jiu-jitsu improving or changing throughout, like whether you compete or just through the months?
Well, competing is the best way to take your jiu-jitsu to the next level, because the moment you sign up for a competition, you want to do well. You want to worry about your technique. So improving is something that really should hit us on a daily basis. What was the question again?
For you in particularly, do you feel that you yourself, your jiu-jitsu improves? Have you seen it improve, I mean?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to rephrase this answer here. We say jiu-jitsu is like a liquid in a bottle. We can have 2-3 people come to the same class, the same number of hours, be exposed to the same techniques. When they grapple, it will look as if they went to different schools and had different instruction, because the jiu-jitsu is in us. So as I aged throughout, I've been training for over 40 years. I went from being a top guard passer guy to being a bottom guard player, because it fits better into my age. So technique-wise, I think my technique is better now than it was 10 years ago, than it was 20 years ago, and then it was 30 years ago. For 2 reasons. Number one, jiu-jitsu is evolving, and I make a point of learning everything that is out there is new. And the other thing, I have to adapt to what works for me at that point in life.
Awesome. And I think you kind of already mentioned this, that competing, once you sign up, your jiu-jitsu improves. What do you think it is in a person that kind of, I guess maybe that competitive spirit, but
No, this is what happens. When you sign up for a competition, you open your computer, you go on the website, you sign up, and the last thing you do is you pay. Pow! The moment you hit that pay key, you're in. And that changes everything. For instance, maybe you train 2-3 times a week. Maybe you're gonna come and train 4 times a week. Maybe you're tired that day, and I'm gonna go home, I had a hard day. No, I have that competition coming up, so I'm gonna go train. So the moment you sign up for a competition, you start getting hit by a lot of other factors that will make you improve, that will make you train harder, that will make you evolve.
Mm-hmm. It increases your dedication, your focus.
By all means, you're
right?
a different person. Just that day you click that key.
Yep. What's your vision for this academy in the next 5 to 10 years?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a typical question you get in a job interview.
Right.
What do you see yourself doing 5 years from now?
Yeah.
And honestly, if we keep doing what we're doing, I will be a happy man. We have a full school, packed, full of great people, the energy, the vibe. Jiu-jitsu, we get so close to each other because of the grappling, and then, birds of the same feather kind of stay together, and the bad ones start leaving. So we end up with a very good environment. Everybody likes to come and hang out, and if it keeps like that, I'll be a happy man.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna end with some fun questions here. What's your favorite jiu-jitsu match? What is one that you always think about, and whether you watched it in person or online?
Somebody else's?
Yeah, somebody else's.
Ooh, let me think here. It's been so many.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to the 90s. When in Rio, the jiu-jitsu culture was very, very hot. A lot of rivalry between schools and fighters. So Gracie Barra back in the day was like there were not that many schools, powerful schools. There were Castle Gracie, Gracie Barra. Back in the day, it was even called Barra Gracie. So we had Jean-Jacques Machado, we had Renzo Gracie. It was crazy. It was crazy.
That's awesome. Awesome. If you could roll with any legend, dead or alive, who would it be?
Well, I have one person, and I'm sure this will happen soon. Is one of the guys that was a friend of mine, a surf buddy, and he's one of the Jiu-Jitsu gods. His name is Rickson Gracie. He's a friend of mine, a surf buddy, and we have never rolled. I've known and talked and known him for 30, 40 years. We've never rolled, but now we've been talking, and he moved to Florida,
Awesome.
in Vero Beach, and that it will probably
soon,
happen
then.
very, very soon.
Awesome. Very cool. I hope to be there when it happens.
We can make it happen.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. So you have your grandsons and even your son-in-law. They're currently in the jiu-jitsu world, competing constantly. They're even opening up their own gym right around the corner, Gracie Barra Hunters Creek. How does that make you feel, and what goes on in your mind when you see that happening?
Well, my family, my grandkids particularly, getting involved, not getting involved because their jiu-jitsu is their life, is more than a dream, because that's what every parent, every grandparent wishes. Oh, I wish my son would follow my footsteps. They absolutely follow me. They're taking to the next level. They're very involved. It's like a dream.
Awesome. Some final questions. What advice would you give someone if they are wanting to open up their own gym, and they don't know where to begin?
Well, running a jiu-jitsu gym is a dream job, but there are a lot of things that are around it that people don't see. Are you going to be rich? Not ever. Are you going to be happy? Most likely. So you're going to be a small business owner. It's going to be a 24/7 job. You're going to think about it 7 days a week like I do, and I'm happy. I would trade this for nothing. So it's hard, but very doable these days. Jiu-Jitsu is absolutely exploding. So dedicate yourselves, build good technique, have good relationships, always follow your principles, good conduct. There's no way not to be successful.
Awesome. Okay. One final question. What advice would you give to someone who's hesitant about joining their first jiu-jitsu class?
There's one advice: do it. Because I think I'm a very good example. Like, for years, my friends trained and I didn't. The moment I stepped on the mats, it changed my perspective. It's like going to an ice cream parlor and say, this ice cream tastes good, but if you don't taste it, you won't really know. So just try it, give it a try. We here at Gracie Barra Kissimmee, we give a 1-week free trial. So you can come to any and every class and you have nothing to lose. Just give it a try.
Awesome. Thank you, Igor, for sharing not just your time, but years of knowledge and experience. If you guys are in the area, come check out Gracie Barra Kissimmee. And it's more than just a jiu-jitsu gym, it's a community. Thank you guys for joining. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe, send to your friends, and stay tuned for more interviews and more stories from the jiu-jitsu world.